Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines, where so close, but yet so far. So we need to move this over like one block, and the way I'm going to do that is by simply building this out like so, and then we can build it a little bit differently. So we had already worked on this a little bit, and this was something that I got off camera. So we're going to build it like this, right? This is what we wanted? I think this is what I wanted. Let's double check that. This comes out 3 blocks at 120 degrees. We can just squeak that in here. Like that. 3 blocks at 120 degrees. 3 blocks at 120 degrees. Be like right there. 3 blocks at 120 degrees, and then link this in. That space already occupied. We're not shocked by this. That kind of works. Do I like this being a little bit off-center like this? I almost do. Like, I almost think that's pretty neat. Having it be like mostly up here, but it extends down this way. It like extends on this axis almost the entire length of the hexagon, but on this axis here it's a little bit shorter, and on this axis it's a lot shorter. So I feel like that's actually pretty decent. I like it. Now the question is, do we want this whole hub to be a hexagon? And I think the answer to that is probably no. So, what we need to do is we need to find the halfway point, which is this here. Then we need to take it out 2 blocks, or 2 squares rather, like that, and then in like that. And that, in theory, gets us a start. Now, over here, we need to do basically the same thing, except it needs to come in on a point. That's going to be a wee bit complicated. And I'm going to have to try to think about how I want to do this, unless we reform this from a hexagon. That is going to be interesting to try to do. However, what if we were to bring it out, say, over... If it's here... coming out at, I believe it would need to come out at 60 degrees, which is not going to work. So that is definitely interesting. It would have to come in like over here. This would be like the halfway point, or the midpoint between the 2 roads. Maybe we can utilize that. Interesting. Very interesting. Regardless, this is the halfway point here. So we go over 2 squares. And that gets us this road. So that's fine. And then we could do something like this. It's kind of horrid. What if we only rounded this section? That might be a possibility. I'm going to build this road out here at 120 degrees to mark the point where we would need to connect it in. So we can always connect it again very easily. Now that's going to be in the way for this, I think, unless we take it in like this. That doesn't really work, I don't think. What if we took it in like that? I mean, this creates too much of a bend over here, right? Because this is... Well, what we would actually potentially want to do is have it come from, like, here. Like that. Do we want to just make it like this? Maybe we should. It would make things simpler. There's no doubt about that. So the idea would then be that it comes in like this and like this, except that we would need to take this out, and at this join, we would want to move it up like that. And bring it in straight. Like, we would want this join to be straight. So we would actually want to replace this and have it come out like that. And then take this out yet again. I know I'm doing this a lot, but I'm just feeling out how I want to do this, right? And then for now, I'm going to mark this, put that there. And then we want to move this over. Instead of being here, I want it to be here. Connecting in like that, approximately. Except it shouldn't actually be that far. It should go to there. And then this one needs to come over one square to go there and connect like that, in theory. And then this would connect in like this. And this one like this. In theory. Do I hate it? I kind of don't.
Italian leather, Italian threading.
We'll have to see how off-center it ends up looking, because I suspect it's a little bit off-center, but that might be okay. So we're going to run this over in a straight line over to, like, here. Although, I shouldn't have deleted this just yet. I don't actually know. Well, from here, we run this down, and we can see that that is a width of 1080. So we take this over 1080, and that is... Okay, so we can tell that this is definitely a little bit oblong. But maybe that's okay. Well, let's check to see how many blocks this is. So that's like 1160 or 1120 in length there. And then it connects there at 1680. Okay. So at 1680. Right there. In theory. Is that straight? Yeah, perfect. So then this would come out like this, and then we would bring this down like so. Connect that in. And we would need to then come in like that. So it's definitely a little bit squashed vertically. And that's, of course, because of the nature of the original hexagon that we created on that. Hexagons on their flat side are 1.732 to 2 in terms of their actual size. So this is going to be a little bit squashed if we do it this way. One thing we could do, though, is we could alter it and make it be a little bit less squashed by bringing both of these in ever so slightly while leaving these the same. So we would bring these in to be about here instead. Like that. And then we take these sections out and we can rebuild these connectors super easily at this point. So that would then come out to here, like so. Like so. Like so. And like so. Okay, now it's a little tall. A little bit tall. But I would prefer to bring it down this direction a little bit, I feel like, if we're going to modify that. So let's bring this down to, say... Let's see, I'm just thinking here. That might be okay. So we take these two sections out, and we connect it about... Ooh, I don't like that curve. I don't like that curve at all. Let's try this here instead. Does that curve feel better? It's still a little oblong. Okay, I think that we should try to center this. So, what is this current width? The width is currently 2,000. The height is currently 1960. Okay. So, that means that we need to move one of these sides, and I think I will move this. What is this? It's a deer. Hello, Mr. Deer. Actually, it's a moose. Okay, so we need to move this out this way by 40. So, what is this distance? 2240. So we need to move this in by 240. Like that. And that should now be correct. In theory. That looks correct. And now the question is, what do we feel about the centering of this? And actually, I really, really like it. Maybe we could move it north a little bit. But we're roughly in line here with this hole and this rock. Roughly in line. I think it's pretty decent. So we're going to, of course, build these in over here. And this is all going to be going, for now, counterclockwise. Inside of here. Excellent. We are expecting this to be fairly low traffic over here again. So let's go ahead and have these be going like so. I need to think about this. Right-hand turn. Yes, that would be a right-hand only turn. So we want this one to be going right-hand only. Like that. Wonderful. And then this one would be going out, and this one would be coming in. Down here, this one would be going out, and this one would be coming in. Fantastic. So that gets us like a park hub sort of thing. Next, I'm going to utilize 2-lane roads with trees, and in fact, I'm going to upgrade these to 2-lane one-ways with trees before we get too much further in here. Like so. Now these don't give parking space, but that's okay. We don't actually need parking space. And they do give sidewalks, so that is perfect. So we'll get these upgraded down here as well. Fantastic. I'm also going to take this out of here, and I want to make sure that these are the correct length, which should, in theory... What is that width? Or that cost? 600? That should be right here. Like that. That should be one block. And then we'll take this. Ooh, I did not mean to do that necessarily. We'll take this out to there. And now that that's there, we can remove this pretty safely. And we'll put that in like that. Excellent. So are these all the correct lengths? I don't necessarily think so. This length is 720. So we'll need to remove these and check our length. Our length should be here. Like that. And we'll check our length here. That is correct. Fantastic. Okay, now, as far as these arterial connections over here go, that should be out here, and this should be two-way. So we'll have that come out over here, 600, and then over here, 600. Excellent. And then over here, 600, as well as over here. 600, and that should be correctly spaced. And it does look like it. Now, of course, this is a huge central circle. And that is something that we need to consider. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But I do want to make sure that we have trees along all of this. No parking spaces. That's okay. We don't need parking spaces in here. Excellent. So we do need a little bit more zoning over here. And I do think that we should probably put in some offices over here in the polluted area. That'll be fine. And we probably won't need this anymore once this fills in. So we'll keep an eye on that. As far as residential goes, we do have additional need for residential. And we'll put that in over here. We do need a little bit of commercial, and we'll just put that in like that. That'll be fine. This up here should probably end up being residential. This in here should be largely unzoned, although we could make this be like residential. As long as it's not impacting these areas, I'm okay with it. We just need to make sure that it's not zoning any of the areas that are covered here. Something like that should be fine. And then that should be okay for zoning. How are we doing on our academic here? We're about halfway through. Wonderful. So we are going to come in over here, and I think these outer ones I'm going to have be two-directional. So we'll just have them come in, and in reality, we need this... We actually need these arterial roads gone for right now, because we need to build these as is. So we'll do something like that, that, and that. And then we will bring this up, put it in like so. Excellent. This is very nice. I think there. Yep, that'll do. And now those arterial roads, as I like to call them, can go in. And where should they go in? It should be like halfway down this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So like right here is where it's supposed to go, I think. Something along those lines. So this would come out 90 degrees like that in theory? Is that correct? I don't know. Maybe it should just go right here? I don't know. That feels justified up this way. There's more space here, I'm certain. Comes out maybe here? Okay, 4, 9... And... I don't know. That's very close. Very close to centered there. We'll call that centered, I guess. And this one should be centered as well. And this one should be centered. For whatever reason, I just felt like this wasn't correct. But I think it is. It's very foggy, it would appear. Okay. Well, we've got some issues going on up here that we should take a look at. We've got a crime problem over here. It looks like that's going to be taken care of, though. We've got a patrol car on the way. So that's wonderful. We definitely have a lack of customers in some of these locations. And we've got some dead people waiting for transport. I do believe that we should probably put in a crematorium up over in this direction somewhere. There are a lot of hearses up here. Perhaps we could get away with placing it here. Okay, we'll just do that. And for now, we will get rid of these abandoned structures. I don't like to have those in the city if I can at all help it. Excellent. What is this icon? Sickness. Okay. How are we doing on our healthcare up over in this region? We're doing okay. There's an ambulance here, apparently. Yeah. Transporting a patient. I think I'm going to go ahead and put in a medical clinic right here.
Are issuing a thunderstorm warning for the coming days.
Thunderstorm
Citizens
warning.
are advised
Okay.
to stay indoors.
That is fine. This still feels taller to me than it is wide, but it's not, right? We measured it. 2,000? 2,000. Yeah. It feels taller to me than it is wide. I don't know why. Hello, thunderstorm.
A thunderstorm is battering the city. Stay indoors until the storm has passed.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, so as we were saying, this definitely feels taller to me than it is wide, but it measures correctly. I like that nice sinkhole there. So yeah, we're leaving this largely intact. As far as this rock goes, we may or may not be able to leave it intact. We'll have to see how this hub develops. For right now, we're going to continue working on bringing out this hub. So let's grab our one-way roads, and we'll just bring this out. And we'll bring it in, like so. And then out. And in, like so. Excellent. Out. And in. Out. And in. Fantastic. And is this not treed? This isn't treed. Okay, we're going to tree this. Fantastic. Gotta lower that noise from the traffic that won't be here, you know? Fantastic. Okay, so we'll do that. Yeah, we've got our fire helicopters coming on out here. That is to be expected. Excellent. Okay, so let's get this down over here. We need to use the curve tool for it, and this line is right here. So in we go. And we'll bring this on over to, I think it's here-ish? A little further, actually. A little further yet. A little not that far. Close enough. Fantastic. And then we'll bring this one on up here. That'll do. And then, oh, I missed this one over here. I knew I was forgetting something. We'll bring this in to here and down to there. Fantastic. That was not treed. This tends to help. Okay, we will go ahead and connect this up, of course.
He's the one that you're afraid to take outside. Fault tech.
Wonderful. And then we will connect this in here at the 90-degree marker.
This is Cities Radio.
Like so, and that gets us our second circuit. Fantastic. And of course, by the circuit, I'm referring to the empty spaces in here. Wonderful. We do have a little bit of demand for zoning, so let's go ahead and come on down here. I do want to remove the power line over here. That is definitely no longer necessary. This power line is still a little bit necessary, though, unfortunately. So we will go ahead and zone this area in. We'll zone in this as well. This will all be fine. And then this over here is actually residential. So we'll put that in about like this, and that should make it, once this develops, so we no longer need this power line. In the meantime, we will connect this up over here and get this entire section zoned. Of course, we are rapidly filling up this hub. And that means that the expansion to this hub is necessary. Now, we're going to need to think about our public transport over here. This is a much larger inner circle. And I feel like we may want to do some busing from metro station to metro station. Like perhaps from inside and out. Or something like that. Just have a bus line that runs along these streets over here, stopping at maybe like the major intersections, or maybe even every intersection. Every intersection would probably be okay. We do need to continue to expand this, but I do want to put in just a little bit more commercial over here while I'm thinking about it. Like so. Excellent. And we should now be able to remove this without having any power issues. That is correct. And we'll get this area zoned on in. Wonderful. So let's give this one more expansion over here. Let's go to one way, bring this out a block, and bring it in a block, bring it out a block, and bring it in a block, except we've got our earthquake sensor here. I'm going to move this earthquake sensor to be like way out here, almost on the coastline. We can't actually interfere with the coastline, but we can put it almost on the coastline. Wonderful. And we're going to bring this up as well as this, and bring this out like so, and in over here. Excellent. We are now a colossal city. That gives us helicopter pathways, floating cafes, nuclear power plants, cargo hubs, ocean thermal energy conversion plants, helicopter depots, and helicopter stops. Okay. Fantastic. We're doing very well here, of course, and we are going to continue working on our not one-way section here. We're going to continue working on this hub, and we're going to bring this on in. These are, of course, not one-way. These are bi-directional. We're going to place this right here. A little further down, actually, I feel like. Maybe that's... No, it does need to go a little further down. I think this one might be slightly off-center. Just based on that. Let's see here. Center point would be here, I think? Perhaps? Perhaps. This is what we had previously as the center point. This is a proposed new center point. Let's see here. 8, 9, 13, and then that would be an additional, call it 3, because we've got a bit of an angle there. So call it 16, and then over on the other side, let's see here. 4, 9, 13. Okay, that would be 17. So this is about as close as it's going to get. If we don't call that 13, or we don't call that 3 there, then yeah, I think this is indeed our center point. So we bring it in like so. Fantastic. Then let's bring this guy right on over to, what is this line here? Right on over to here in theory. No, a little shorter. Here. Still a little shorter. Like here. Yeah, that's about right. Call that good. And then we'll bring this one up over this way to, it should be in theory like here. Slightly too high. I'm going to bring it back like 1 square. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay. Wonderful. And we will, of course, not use the curve tool for this. We'll close these off. This should be using trees. Trees, please. Thank you. And trees, please, up here. Wonderful. Okay, and then we'll close these off and extend these roads. Wonderful. How many times do we want to repeat this out this way? We're going to run into our train track. We can always reroute our train track or even send it underground. That's fine. We can rework this junction over here, which is definitely a little bit messy, but we didn't build it. But that is also something that we can figure out in the next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.